come back to this in a moment. But first, so I'm here at MacDill Air Force Base. This is their beach, and just over here is where the campground is located. It's a very, very short walk, which makes MacDill Air Force Base's family campground a very, very nice location to come to. And for the wintertime, it's almost impossible to get a site. They do first come, first serve, and I got lucky a couple of weeks ago as I came down that they had just a couple of slots available, and I took one of them. And I was only going to do 2 weeks here, but I've decided to stay a little bit longer as plans are changing a little bit as to my travel destinations. I do have the jacket on because it was about 59 this morning. But we will be in the 80s today. The campground is located in the more remote section of the base. And if you take a moment to slow down and look around, you will see an abundance of wildlife, as I've seen dolphins no more than 10 yards off the beach, raccoons, foxes, and even these fellows. And being an Air Force base, of course they have a golf course. Actually, they have two 18-hole courses. So I took half a day and played one round. And saw even more wildlife.
500 feet.
It is early morning, a little before 5 o'clock. My plan was to get underway at 5 o'clock, and I am heading down to Everglades City. You will find many airboat companies in this area, but after doing my research, I chose the original Everglades City Airboat Tours, originally established in 1982. The two-way headsets provided ear protection, but also allowed for easy communication with our boat operator, Captain Stephen, as he provided us history of the area and also educated us on the wildlife.
We turn around, he's got almost a bleach white chest on him of feathers, and Mom is going to have sort of a brown necklace kind of feathers around her chest. Kind of laying out on logs and stuff like that, kind of keeping warm, especially when we get some of these cooler nights in the wintertime. They're a little bit easier to spot in the wintertime than say in the summertime. But I do have pictures of the one my son and I caught, so if you want to check that out, I'll pull it up real quick. 9-foot Burmese python.
Your son looks like about your age.
Yeah, he was happy. Yeah. So they're an invasive species, so you dispatch it.
After discussing and pointing out some of the wildlife, Captain Stephen felt the need, oh yes, the need for speed. After the airboat ride, it was recommended I travel about 7 miles further down Highway 41, just past this small post office, to the H.P. Williams Roadside Park, named after Homer Williams, an engineer who in the 1920s was in charge of construction of the Tamiami Trail now Highway 41, the park is a great place to view alligators and other wildlife. On my way back to Tampa, I decided to make a brief detour to Naples, Florida. Although only a short distance from Everglades City, Naples looked to be the Beverly Hills of Southwest Florida, with Fifth Avenue its Rodeo Drive. But further exploration of Naples would have to wait for another visit, as I had a long drive back to Tampa and an exciting day planned for the next day. And if you take a trip to Orlando to visit Mickey and his friends, Universal Studios, or SeaWorld, you really should plan an extra day to travel the short distance to Kennedy Space Center. Not only do you learn and see history of space exploration, you can see and learn about space exploration of today. Well, I just finished a day here at Kennedy Space Center. Whenever I'm in the area, I always like to come here to go through and see the exhibits. Kennedy is a little bit more than what Huntsville has, except with COVID, they have about 2/3 of the exhibits closed. So typically you'd come in and you've got the Atlantis exhibit, which I did take video of that. That's a very, very good exhibit that they've set up with the real Atlantis spacecraft or space shuttle. And then you would take the buses out, and the bus tour was typically about 45 minutes. You would go out to the launch pads. They would talk about the history of the launch pads and also how those launch pads are being used now with SpaceX and Blue Origin and Boeing. And then they would drop you off at the Apollo Museum, where the Saturn V rocket is located. The moon rock is located there, or some moon rocks are located there. And that center looks very, very similar to Huntsville, where the Saturn V rocket is laid horizontal and they break it down into sections, and you get a very good look at it. So that's closed. The bus tour is closed. And there were a couple of other exhibits here that were closed also. And
If they had reduced the price, that would have been okay. You know, show me half the exhibits, I pay half the price. But the price to get in with tax was $60. $60 for an adult. But $60 is, in my opinion, quite a bit of money for what they have open right now. I came down this time because I'm over in Tampa. That's where the Airstream is at. That's where I'm camping there at MacDill Air Force Base. But there is a rocket launch scheduled for tonight. Well, I'm back in Cocoa Beach. This is about 3 or 4 weeks since the last time I was down here and went to Kennedy Space Center. Came down that day to watch a rocket launch. Scheduled to launch, and it didn't. It didn't launch until about 2 days later due to either weather or mechanical issue. So now it's about 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks later. I'm still at MacDill Air Force Base. I'm just enjoying it, the campsite, enjoying the area. Still lots to see and beautiful weather, and it's real close to the beach also. So it's nice just to walk across and hang out over there. But they have another Falcon 9 rocket launching today. Once again, sending up, I think, 60 satellites. These are the satellites that are going to provide high-speed internet to rural areas of the world. So it's another SpaceX Falcon 9 launch. It's still scheduled. I'm parked here where the Ron John shop is. This is actually Ron John's parking lot. I am going to go in and look around Ron John's. I might buy a t-shirt there. But just 2 blocks or 3 blocks over is the beach, and that's where I plan on walking over to try to capture this rocket launch. It's a beautiful day out here, blue skies. As long as there's no mechanical issues, it should go up. Right now it is 12 o'clock and their launch window is around 12:30. So I've got to get out of here and get on over to the beach and set up. So I did see some people parking along the road to watch, but not nearly as many people as it was about 10 years ago or so when I came down to see a shuttle launch. Lots of people then. So anyway, let me pack up, get out of here, and get across the road and set up for the rocket launch on the beach. In my next video, I'll go back on the water. And I'll find mermaids. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, and tell a friend.